Good morning, agents, and thank you for joining us for the Florida Broker Roundtable for May. This is Jill Lemons, National Operations Manager for Allison James Estates and Homes, and of course with us today is our Florida State Broker, Robert Milligan. We're going to do things a little differently this month by first starting out with a presentation by your broker on sales and marketing. And then we thought that you may find it beneficial for us just to open the lines to general questioning with Robert and I as panelists so we can assist you with anything you may want to inquire about. So without further delay, Robert.
Hi, everybody. Thank you so much for joining us, and thank you, Jill. Yes, this is going to be different. This is going to be fun, and instead of talking so much about compliance, we thought we'd change it up a little and just maybe give you some inspiration and some ideas possibly how to build your business, share some of the things that have been successful in our market area, and of course we want to try to open it up and get some good dialogue with you guys. So, please don't be bashful if you have any questions or comments or anything that you want to add to the meeting, because we're all full of fantastic ideas, and I don't have a monopoly on ideas, so I'm sure that you've got some better ones than I do. But I just thought I'd share some things that are really effective in our marketplace and some things that I'm excited about as the market changes, because the market is literally changing from month to month, and we've had such a tremendous successful selling season in our area of Florida during January, February, March, April, and I'm sure that you've probably experienced that as well. So we've had just a tremendous time of prosperity, and the market's really been improving, and so it's good to just kind of check in and sit back and share some of the things that we've seen that's been working well for us. So first, before we do that, I just wanted to mention quickly, if any of you are doing any home search auction properties, I did want to make you aware on SkySlope, I did make a new category for home search contracts. So that might kind of narrow down what's required in those instances and make that a little bit easier for you. So keep that in mind. So when we're working with buyers, and I've got more to talk about with sellers because our inventory is tight, and I think it's really important that even if you don't particularly enjoy listings, I think that it's important now to work on building up your listing inventory. But the one buyer tip that I've seen, because we've had so many people, especially in Florida, seasonal people that come and lots of tire kickers, and in some of the dialogues in our local Sarasota office with our agents, agents have expressed concern how to better qualify their buyers, how to not get people that are wasting their time, and now with the market moving up, the prices are going up, prices are improving. So it's important to make sure that you don't have buyers with unreasonable expectations, because things are becoming more expensive, and if you've got buyers that are only willing to pay what prices were 6 months or 12 months ago, then there's just not a lot of inventory to pick from, and they're probably not going to find a property. So when we're working with buyers, the most effective strategy that we've found is to express to them and have a conversation with them somewhere where you can really establish their goals and establish their relationships and let them know what you can bring to the relationship, what you're capable of. And I think it's important to tell them that anybody can show them anything that any and everything that's in the MLS. And as a professional, that's not what you're getting paid to do. You're getting paid to bring your professional service to them and to weed out all of the properties that are going to waste their time and wear them out and aggravate them. And after you've seen a dozen properties and more, you don't remember what the first one that you saw is. It's just confusing. So as a professional, I think it's best to say, listen, I'm looking at properties in this market all the time, and I'm going to show you the 3 best properties that are meeting your criteria, and only the 3 best, because I don't want to confuse you, I don't want to wear you out. So I will show you the 3 very best properties that are on the market meeting your criteria right now, and if any of these 3 are not the perfect fit for you and are not perfectly meeting your criteria, we'll wait until some new properties hit the market, because obviously our inventory cycles all the time. So that way you eliminate all the running around and all the craziness, and I think that you actually add value as a professional to your buyer to say, we're going to just look at the very best 3, and then we'll either pick one or we'll wait until some new things come on the market. So that's something that's been very effective for the agents in our office, that just to keep them from expending unnecessary time and energy just running around showing everything under the sun to people. So that's probably the best buyer strategy. And the other buyer tip, real quick, is of course with the inventory on the low side, offers are very competitive. We are seeing multiple offers a lot. So I would recommend making your offers as absolutely strong as possible. Just if possible as is, large escrow deposits, quick closings ideally. So you just want to be aware of different ways that you can make your offer as strong as possible to compete with multiple offers if that's what you run into. So those are some buyer tips, and now I'll turn the attention to listings, because I think that there's an old saying in the business that certainly is true. It's you have to list to last. And an effective strategy to get more listings, even if you don't presently have a lot of listings, because if you're a newer agent, sometimes you don't generally start in the business getting listings. You usually start working with buyers. But you can leverage the opportunities and the momentum that you've created when you sell a property by using some effective tools to go out and announce the property that you've just sold to the neighbors. And this has been something that, everything seems to start in California and then work its way to Florida. We're seeing more and more of it in Florida, and it's already been pretty popular in California. But we've got agents now that are making announcements to all the neighbors through door hangers. So they're very classy printed door hanger announcements. We've been ordering some on nextdayflyers.com. Look really crisp and sharp, and they got UV coating so they don't fade in the sun. And basically, whenever you have it just listed, just sold, if you have an open house coming up, it's just so smart to go maybe 15 or 20 houses all around, or even wider if you'd like, and just go and try to pick out a time, maybe in the middle of the day on a weekend or evenings after work. Pick out a time that you can go and knock on doors and then announce that you've just sold a property. And again, even if you've not had a lot of listings, you may have just sold something. And just go around and announce that you've just sold this property. Neighbors, of course, are always curious if you're providing relevant information to say, we just sold this property. It's not going to show in the tax records maybe for a month or so, but we just sold this property for, say, $378,000, whatever the price is. That's going to be a piece of information that I believe that the seller will be very interested to know about. So, it's just a smart way to provide relevant information to neighbors. If you're going to have an open house, I think that it would be a really smart way to physically connect in person, one-on-one, eyeball to eyeball with people to say, hey, we have an open house event coming up tomorrow from 1 till 4. We would sure love for you, nosy neighbors are encouraged. We would sure love for you to have a chance to come through and get your feedback on, if anybody knows this neighborhood, it's certainly you. We'd love to have your feedback if you happen to have any friends or family that you'd like to live close. And oh, by the way, if you're just curious what your equity update in your property is, that's a great chance to just connect eyeball to eyeball with people, because, this business is really just about making as many connections as possible. So door hangers have been something that's been working very, very well for the agents in our area. Another thing that's been really great to connect with sellers, surprisingly, are open houses. And if you're very methodical about how you run your open house and make sure that you actually capture people's information, obviously nosy neighbors are something that most agents get kind of dismayed whenever a nosy neighbor comes through their open house because you're trying to sell the house. But really, we're all in this business for the long term, and if you use that as an opportunity to connect with a neighbor, capture their information and let them know that if you can keep them apprised of other things that are going on in the neighborhood that's going to have a material effect on the value of their property. And if you can capture their email address, we are now putting sellers on email drips through the MLS system. So if anything is a new listing, anything goes pending, anything sells, it's just very smart to have captured that nosy neighbor's email address so that they're automatically notified of this information. Because again, this is very valuable, important, pertinent information that these sellers would like to have, and there's no better place for them to be getting this information than from you. So those are some of the things that have been really working for listings. I know mailings have been really effective, postcard mailings, but there's something that you have to commit to a little for a longer time period. I would say that you're going to have to mail for probably at least 6 to 12 months before you're going to start to see a material effect in your business, and I would say mail monthly. And the advice that I would have for mailings, or for most of your advertising in general, we're seeing the best results in doing hyper-local advertising. So you don't want to mail postcards to a very broad niche. You want to be known as the expert in a particular category, maybe in waterfront, or maybe in downtown condos or beachfront condos, or some very hyper-local, unique niche. So we've not seen a lot of activity for agents that are trying to be the Walmart agent, so to speak, to be all things to all people. You want to be known for something very special. So those are some of the things that I thought would be good idea joggers, and I would be very interested to expound upon anything. If you've had some ideas that maybe you've been interested in potentially pursuing in your own business, some marketing ideas that you've been curious about but haven't pulled the trigger on and want my opinion on it. I would be happy to share my opinion, things I've seen other agents do, ideas that you've had. So, this is the time. If you've got anything that you'd like to discuss, please, I don't know, Jill, did they raise their hand, or how does this work?
Yeah, now for the question section this time, instead of you typing your questions in, if you go ahead and click your raise a hand button on the GoToMeeting or GoToWebinar, what I will do is I will select you one by one and open up your communication line so you can be speaking directly with Robert or myself. You can feel free to ask Robert any questions relative on his presentation, or if there's something that you would like to inquire with other than that, please feel free to. I'm available for any questions from the corporate side.
Yeah, and I'm hopefully somebody's got something, because we're having a fun kickoff for the month here, and I'm feeling chatty, so. Well, while everybody's thinking, I will mention that it's unfortunate that I'm not able to physically be viewed. I put on a bow tie for everybody this morning, and nobody can even see it. So, sorry about that.
We'll have to get your camera going for next month so you can grace us with your bow tie presence.
Yeah.
All right, does anybody have any questions? If you don't have the capability of to raise your hand, please feel free to type the question and I'll respond there as well.
If anybody wants to email me, we can send you, an image of what our door hangers are looking like and that sort of thing. So we want you to be successful.
Okay, we have our first question from Patricia Diaz. Patricia? Patricia, did you have a question? Patricia? Okay. Okay, Patricia's it looks like she's having issues with her mic. Patricia, if you want to go ahead and type your question in, I can go ahead and read that to Robert. Okay, it says, Robert, specific to Sarasota area and your business.
Mm-hmm. Did we get the question yet?
No, I'm waiting. She is searching for condos.
Condos. Okay, excellent.
Do you have projection of future Nation Star home search inventory? That's from Dom and Tam.
Yeah, so they're looking for Sarasota condos, correct? And they're wanting to know about maybe pre-list inventory?
Actually, Guarinos, are you looking for a specific area? And then Patricia, she was inquiring about the condos. I'm getting questions overlapping here.
Okay. Sure.
Patricia said she's searching for condos. Any areas of specific inventory?
Oh, for like a niche for condos per se, if you're trying to target something, am I understanding that correct? I don't know if I completely understand the question, unfortunately.
that
Yeah, and
Nation Star has or good deals left. So is there any inventory on condos in Sarasota area that Nation Star has?
Yeah, to my knowledge, yes, and we do have a few in pre-list. We don't have a bunch in pre-list at the moment for some reason, but so yes, and I mean that's something that's interesting to talk about is the home search website. We have seen some great deals, and it's interesting because you don't know just how great the deal is going to end up being because it's a live auction event. So we have for the most part seen some great deals on the home search website on their auction events. But you just, depending on how popular that particular event is, you don't know how great of a deal it's going to be. But so I would say, it seems like the inventory has slowed down a little bit as far as the release of REO properties. That is something that I've seen over the years as a cyclical process, that it does seem to slow down a little going into the summer. I don't know if there's a specific reason. It just kind of is the way that it runs. So, so yes, I mean, just keep in touch. If you want to know specifically, if there's something very specific that you're looking for, of course you could email me and we can check in our pre-list inventory and see what we might have coming up.
Okay, and then Dom and Tam are looking to have projection of future Nation Star home search inventory for Collier and Lee.
I wish I could speak better to that. That's an excellent question. I am not too terribly much further up the totem pole than any of our agents here in terms of the Nation Star account. So I really kind of get the information at the same point that you guys get. So I don't know what the forecast is looking like, but all I do know is that in Florida for some reason it always is a little bit cyclical, that the REO inventory release kind of slows down a little in the summer. So I would assume that that's what's going on. I don't really foresee any significant decline in the number of new assignments over the next at least year to 2 years. I mean, there's still a lot of properties out there, but when and how they release them is nobody knows. So wish I could be more specific.
Okay, I'm going to go ahead and open up the mic for Jeff Roberts. Jeff?
Sure.
Jeff, you have to unmute yourself. There we go.
I think I just did.
There you go.
Oh, I
have actually a question about compliance. As far as,
sure.
Okay, I'm looking about inquiring about the compliance on the Nation Star properties that are. When we get the contract, there's already a closing date on the contract.
Mm-hmm.
I've got some asset managers that are just enforcing the automatic built-in 30-day extensions. So we don't actually get a signed extension to upload into SkySlope. How do you want us to address that as far as compliance is concerned?
Yeah, I'm going to defer to Jill because let's see what your opinion is first, Jill.
I think what the best way to do, Jeff, and Robert, you tell me whether this is acceptable on your standpoint. I am understanding now that there is a 30-day extension built in within the contracts, which many of us were not aware of. But I think if we upload under the extension the email communication regarding that extension, basically stating that it's not closing on the original date, and utilize that email correspondence from the asset manager authorizing the extension,
Mm-hmm.
or basically
I like
the
that.
communication chain between, and then just put note in the comments section on SkySlope of what the extended date is, and then also advise processing so that they can go ahead and update that closing date if the CDA has already been issued.
Yeah, I like that answer.
Does that sound acceptable, Jeff, from an agent standpoint?
Sure, that's fine. I was just wondering how we can comply with it. So.
Okay, I think that's the easiest. I know it's difficult, especially with the asset managers, to be able to get. And Dom is telling me there's actually 2 30-day extensions built into the home search contracts. Thanks for that, Dom.
Correct. Yeah.
So, yeah, I think the best thing, again, utilize your email address on that SkySlope file, because maintaining the communication that happens back and forth through the emails, copying it into that file is giving us a more compliant file. So if any questions arise, we always have that chain to look back at.
Yeah. Yeah, and Jeff, keep in mind too, I don't know if you've utilized it or not, but there's a lot of stuff that's built into the home search contract. So we did make a new home search category when you're choosing what type of transaction, if it's a traditional short sale, REO, and then you'll see now home search too, because there's a lot of built-ins there. So we were able to whittle down the list a little bit, make it a little easier.
And Robert, we may want to go ahead and add a place to enter a 30-day extension communication, 60-day extension communication. So go ahead and maybe add those as items so they have an immediate place to attach the copies of those emails.
Yeah, I will do that. Smart.
Okay, Jeff, did that answer all your questions?
Yep, that works fine.
All right, thank you. All right, let's see if we have anybody. Is there anybody else that has any questions that they want to throw out?
Or better yet, anybody have any better ideas for marketing that I didn't mention? Share with the group.
Okay, it looks like we don't have anything else popping up here, Robert. Well, I want to thank everybody for oh, here comes one. The new NationStar listing addendums have the listing agent getting both sides if no buyer agent is listed. Is anyone having problems getting both sides?
Yes, I for one have. I have yet, I've noticed this and I have not yet been able to actually collect this. So I personally am experiencing the same issue. So and for some, I don't know why, it just is the way it is right now. So maybe that might be something to talk with Mark and Ed's office a little bit more in detail about.
Okay, anybody else? Okay, ladies and gentlemen, I want to thank you for taking your time out this morning. As always, Robert and I are both available. You can either send it through email or give us a call. We'll be more than happy to assist you with any questions you may have. We look forward to our meeting next month and also look forward to you all joining us for our panel for our national webinar here in May. Watch for notifications. They'll be coming out shortly.
Okay, thank you, everybody. Thank you, Jill. I really appreciate it.
You're welcome. Have a great day, folks.
Yeah, bye-bye.
Bye.